I buy faulty electronic items on eBay, attempt to fix them and sell them for a profit. This right here is Sally's spectacular spreadsheet. An example is that last episode we managed to profit £14.40. Previous to that we lost £41.70. The aim of the game is to get this total profit number to £1,000. Hello and welcome to episode number 92 of the series Profit or Loss. It's all about good profit today and I can feel it in my bones. Let's jump straight into it and look at item number 1. I paid a grand total of £150 for this faulty PlayStation 5. My gloves are ridiculously dirty at the moment. What I will say is that after about 2 or 3 repairs, this is what happens. And I don't want to have to continuously wash them and go through new gloves. I get a few comments saying your gloves are so dirty, but that's why I don't change them so often. Especially with some of the items on eBay being ridiculously dirty, I wear gloves for my safety. This actually has a note on it and it says doesn't turn on, no display, no blue or white light. If we go over to the eBay listing in question, it literally just says it's a genuine Sony PS5 and in big letters doesn't turn on. That's pretty much it. I have no idea if the warranty sticker on this is even breached. If it's not, the chance of repair goes through the roof, so let's pray. It's a digital and it's a 1200 series model. Warranty sticker intact or not? Oh, yes, the warranty sticker is indeed intact. Let's just hope they've not purchased another one and put that on anyway. But this looks pretty factory. This doesn't look like it's been lifted off at all. This is really good. So our chance of repair is going like that so far. Let's give it the almighty test. Plug in our power. Just that I didn't hit anything when I plugged in that power. Okay, push the power button. Oh, wait. What? Does it go to a white light? What's happening here? It does. It goes to a white light. These ones are always bittersweet because I really want content, but at the same time, this is a cool profit if it does just work. Let's go ahead and plug in the HDMI lead and see what happens. I'm not actually getting a display on the screen, so it is faulty, but it's just the wrong fault. Maybe they picked up the wrong PS5. I don't know. Strangely as well, it's not gone back onto a blue light, which would indicate that maybe the console's overheated at some point or that it shut down unexpectedly. It's just gone straight onto the white light and stayed on the white light. But again, can 100% confirm no display. Let's turn this PS5 off and just see if it turns off normally, which it does. I think there is a tiny little bent pin on the HDMI port. I don't know if you can see right in the middle. Let me go over to the scope real quick. Is that? Yeah, okay, fine. That pin's just bent up. It does also kind of look like it's a little bit loose. Can you see how it's lopsided? It's a bit diagonal down that way. So this port is going to need changing. It looks like it's cracked. Can you see? So I think that's probably why it's not doing the job it's meant to, which is fine. So we do have content. That's great news. And I know this is only a digital edition, but I only paid £150 for it. So we could be in for a nice little profit with this one. And with it not being open before, it should be a pretty straightforward port swap, I hope. Let's go ahead then and strip this down. But before we do that, a huge shout out to today's video sponsor, PCB Way. Get yourself started with PCB Way's 10th anniversary tour. Grab yourself some exclusive sweet coupons in the range of something from $5 off all the way up to $240 off your potential order. Earn yourself an exclusive badge depending on your membership level, and you can also unlock bonus coupons after watching 30 seconds of a video. It's that simple. Any charity badge that is purchased will have all of the proceeds going to charitable organizations. Be sure to enter the lucky draw. Simply click on these floating boxes to participate. Access all of this and more in the link down below. Now back to the video. That is our board out. There we go. How's the liquid metal situation? Rather dry, but we will sort that out. Right, let's check the damage around this port. This is the HDMI chip that controls the HDMI circuit. Hopefully that's all right. Once upon a time, not so long ago, for any new viewers of the channel, fun fact, when I was working on the PS5, I actually put this chip on back to front. All right, yeah, you can see, look, the port's been pushed back a little bit as well, so we just need to get that off and replace it. On the 1200 models, the diode and some other components are actually on the back of the device here. Remove that little sticky pad. Taking this port off, we're going to go 480 degrees Celsius with an airflow speed of 99%. Usually I would go ahead and say the solder's not the issue with these ports, however it's not fantastic, so I am going to clear out all of the ground holes and the solder on the other side. Let that port fall out just like that. Have to be careful with our solder sucker, but I feel like we'll be okay. Patience is a virtue. Just have to be careful. I actually knocked this resistor last time, and now we have the satisfying part. Here we go. Easy does it, Joey. Don't choke. Don't choke. Yep. Beautiful. All components still intact this side. Yep. And look how grey and dull that solder is. Not looking great, huh? Don't worry, my little board friend. We shall give you the solder and life you deserve. Get this console back on the market, and hopefully it will last years to come. Grab our soldering iron here There we go, look at that. Jubbly. Get rid of this flux because the board is going to be nice and warm. And now, simply put, a bunch more flux. And we're going to fill up those holes with leaded solder. Iron is currently at 400 degrees. And I'm hoping it's going to be warm enough. Any more flux over here, I think. That should be plenty. Fill up these ground holes over here as well. And can we get a one stroke? Ah! We missed the one at the end. Get rid of this flux now. Just a nice little clean. Would you look at that? That cap looks like it might have been nudged with the previous port. It looks like it's just holding on there. We get a little bit of a close-up. Yeah. You might be thinking, Joe, what are we going to do to fix this? Let me show you, my friends. We're going to come in with our hot air gun. Warm up that little bit of the board. And that solder's going to melt very, very quickly. The leaded. But can you see how it's just moved back into place? Just there. If I go a dab of flux as well. There we go. Back into place. That's all we needed to do. Wait for that to cool down because we definitely don't want to knock that off the board, that's for sure. And you know what as well? I am going to add a tiny bit more solder to the board because I kind of want it to be like this one over here. It should be a little bit better. More solder in the holes means that it's going to make our bond stronger for the port on the legs. That is looking good to me. Okay, let's go and tin our port. PS5 HDMI port. Fluxation to the nation. Let's see what we can do. Here we go. Beautiful. Position said board into place. Don't put the wrong port on, Joey. I've done that before. I put the old one back on. Don't need to be doing that. And you know, temp, I'm going to go 450 degrees Celsius with an airflow speed of 99%. Just put a little bit of flux here. Don't need too much. That'll do. And I'm simply, I'll say simply, but it depends on skill level. I'm just going to drop the port into place with my hands rather than use tweezers, etc. Because at this point, the port is very, very cold. It's the board that's going to be super hot. And in a second, you'll witness the moment of magic. This is a bit lower, 450. Usually I do 480, but just trying some new things. 450 is plenty low. Wait for all those pads as well to liquefy, which is now. And then I come in with the port, just drop it down. Still move it back and forth, the heat that is. What I'm looking for here is the solder to wrap around the legs of the port. So we get a nice solid connection. Sometimes that does mean moving the port around a bit and dropping it in. Just to make sure. Other times that doesn't happen. And we can see the solder's not coming all the way through the legs. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of solder. You don't really need to do this. Like, it will be strong enough and it will hold. Just put a tiny bit of solder in the legs at the top. Just help with that bond. And then again, just make sure the port is nice and in the correct place. Continuously moving that air back and forth. I think that's good. I'm not even going to hold the port down. I'm just going to come off the hot air. I'm not going to put any pressure on the top. I'm just going to leave it because I think it's flowed nicely into place. I could be entirely wrong here and mess the whole thing up and we just have to reflow it again. Wait for that solder to solidify on the sides here, which should be about now. And then we can come in and give this a nice clean. And get all of that flux off. Make sure it's in the right place, which it is. Lovely. And try and work quick here whilst the board is hot to give it a nice clean. I've done quite a few of these ports now, and there was a very long time when I was repairing these that I would go over these pins, but there is simply no need. There may be occasions where that is definitely needed, but 9 times out of 10 when doing these ports, it's not. You can see we have a real strong, solid bond on those pins and pads. We do have quite a big few blobs on the back. We can sort that though, no problem. Flux. And that happens because I was constantly adding more solder and for whatever reason it wasn't coming through those holes. So we just take our iron and sort these out. There we go. Clean the flux off the back of the board. Come in with a tiny bit of IPA. Clear up the stubborn marks. That's a good one. What's my favourite one? This one right here. This is a great solder joint because it goes up like a pyramid. It hugs it. And as for the other side, yeah, we can see very, very strong pins and pads. And the solder's come up those legs. Can you see? On that side and also on this side as well. Cool. Right. Let's give this a test. Okay. Back together enough for testing. Watch it not turn on now. I can just see it happening. 3, 2, 1. Okay, good. It does still turn on, which is nice. Please go to a white light. White light has been achieved. Okay, HDCP has been disabled, and as you can see, we're all good. FIFA 23, I know what Phil would say, probably broke the console, but that seems to be all working. I'll test a little bit of gameplay and stuff just to make sure, but I think we're looking good. Let me put it back together. Console has been put fully back together. I've actually played a couple of FIFA games on it as well. I've turned it off and on a bunch of times just to make sure we don't have any power issues, and everything seems to be absolutely fine. So we can go ahead and call this one a win. Got extremely lucky, but we take them when we can. Let's move on to item number 2. I paid £180 for this faulty PS5 Slim. Condition-wise, look at it. Absolutely incredible. Not a single scratch or mark on it. And the good thing about it is that we still have a warranty sticker intact. This console has not been opened before. Let's go and see what the eBay listing says. It states that it's faulty. Shock. It has software issues, will not load games correctly, and crashes. Let's plug in the power cable as well as our HDMI just to confirm that. Might as well go Ethernet at this point as well, or Ethernet as some people say, or LAN. Right, it turns on. I can feel the fan spinning. You can't really see, but there is a blue light just down here. Once and if I get a display, I'll disable HDCP so we can have a look at this together. I reset the console, I logged in, I downloaded Astro's Playroom, and this is the error that we have. So what I'm going to do is take that little number over the top right, CE108255-1. I'm going to call Sony support, and I'm going to arrange for this to be sent off and fixed and returned to me for then me to sell as a profit. I've done this once before. There's a video on the channel, and you don't actually need to prove your purchase of the PS5. You just call them up. As long as it's in that 1-year warranty period, you can send it off and get it fixed or replaced. I'm going to do that right now. I've just got off the phone to Sony, and it's all been booked and ready for collection. It should take me 1 to 2 weeks to get it back, but we can confirm that as a profit. They did mention, they said, you had one done under warranty recently as well, didn't you? I said, yeah. I said I'll buy them off eBay. And as soon as I mentioned that, they're absolutely fine with it. I did try to go through the online platform, which is just a simple repair request. You enter your serial number and the model number, but for some reason it wasn't working for me, so it said that I needed to give them a call, which I did. When I looked at a PS5 Slim recently that was under warranty, and I essentially kind of broke it further, a lot of people in the comments were like, why on earth did you do that? Why didn't you just get it repaired under warranty? Which is why I've chosen the route of sending this back for warranty. As well as the fact, I don't know if this is going to be something like an SSD controller, but again, that's going to be a 070, and I won't have that part in stock anyway. But so far, we are indeed 2 for 2. Should we see if we can go 3 for 3? If so, this is going to be a huge win for today's episode. I paid a grand total of £130 for this Xbox Series X. Again, the listing on eBay is a rather simple one. Apparently, the console has unknown faults and doesn't power on. Condition-wise, not bad in the slightest. We actually look okay. And I don't think the warranty sticker has been peeled back. Oh, it might have actually. In the photos, this didn't look like it had been peeled off, but they've done a super good job of putting that back. Let's put it that way. It does as well look like they've tried to get this bit of the sticker off down here as well. Yeah, we have some scratches on the actual screw as well. Okay, let's try and power it on and see what happens. Okay, plugged in. And we go to turn it on. Nothing. No beep. Nothing. Eject. Nothing. I'm not necessarily hopeful due to the fact that the console's been opened before. However, again, it was only £130. I genuinely believe I might be able to get a little bit more than that if I sell it faulty for parts, or at least around about the same price. Let's get this one open. Wow, this one is dusty dust. Maybe they didn't end up going any further in this, unless they actually opened the console a long time ago and it's built up a lot of dust since then. I gotta say, I don't think this has been opened before. That's be something as simple as like just a power supply. Lord, look at this. Some of those screws were an absolute nightmare. And what's weird is that the power supply is almost like caged in here with this screw. I've never seen this before on the series. And it was the same on the other side. So when I'm lifting this screw up, the whole power supply was lifting. I've just taken the rest of it off now, so I'm hoping that I can unscrew it. It doesn't look like it's coming out. Like it's almost been drilled down so tight that, yeah, it's come through. And like I said, I don't think this has been opened. So that must have been from factory. That it was just over tightened. Let's plug in the power for this power supply and see what reading we get. I wonder if this is dud. Because if so, again, it's going to be a crazy profit today. We're looking for 12 volts. Do we get 12 Vs on this connector? Here we go. Yes, we do. We get 12 volts. Do we get 12 volts in the other connector? Here we go. Yes, we do. Okay, so we get 12 volts on both of the supplies to the actual board. 11.9. It's fluctuating a little bit, but that should be okay. So that should mean we have a short on this board, potentially. Let's see. So meters in continuity mode, you can hear the beep. Do you have a short on this one? No. Let's try the bottom connector. Yeah, okay. Hear that? We've got a short on the second board here. So just by unclipping this big ribbon cable, we should be able to lift this up and it'll reveal the APU board. Could be anything on here. I'm going to try and see if there's any signs of explosions. The usual suspects is like a MOSFET on this rail down here. But many a time, for me at least, whenever I've sorted the short that's on this board, it can go to a beep on, a beep off. I really hope that's not the case. But I'm saying it here now, just in case it does. Again, take the ribbon connector out of the socket. Let's take off the APU clamp. Now we should be able to just simply separate this board. I think we found our issue. Oh my gosh. Let's head on over to the scope and take a look at that absolute explosion. Safe to say, I know where the issue is. How many layers has that actually gone down into? That is going to be another question for today. Can we just, okay, yeah, we can separate that. How deep is that? Is that like cap? Oh, that's the actual cap. Okay, so this might be all right. Unless this goes really deep, which wouldn't be ideal. We need to try and separate what I can. Let me get some IPA and a toothbrush here. Give this a decent clean. I think we're going to be okay. I'm sure that this is all ground on this side. Doesn't look like the layers have got so ridiculously hot that they've had to merge. To be honest with you, I don't even know we need to actually replace this cap because we've got 3 caps on this line. Like, I don't think there's necessarily a need. So I wonder if we can just clean this up, verify that the short's actually gone. Because it might not be. It might be another one of these caps. Even though this one was blown to smithereens. Well, it's not very likely and very often that the issue presents itself like this. So is this a bit too easy, hey? What I'm going to do here, just to make my life a little bit easier, I still don't know the status of whether we have any shorts or anything along those lines. I'm just going to heat the board up and use some solder to clear out the previous cap. We can see that we still have a little bit of remnants left there. Now I'll come in with a soldering iron. That should be hot enough to get these little bits off. Unless this is quite literal board. A little bit of flux as well. Okay. As far as I'm aware, there's a big enough gap there for them not to be connected. I will just add some solder mask to make sure they don't bridge out. My guess with these probes when we test is that there's still going to be a short and I need to find where that short is. So let's see, this should be ground, which it is. We can hear. And this side? Yeah, so that is ground. So there is something that is causing this line to short. Unless this side is actually ground. Because if we take a little wander up the board, it could quite easily be one of these MOSFETs on the back. It's on the direct other side. In which case, looking at this and how it's laid out, I'm going to assume this is the side that's meant to be 12 volts. So maybe this MOSFET has blown, or it could be one of, what, 5 caps? We got these 2, and we've got 3 on the other side as well. So we'll go with trusty voltage injection and a thermal cam to see if we can recognize our heat source. I'm hoping that's going to tell us where the issue lies. Just put this here. What do we get? We get 1.6 amps worth of current. Right, let's inject on our area, which is here. Does anything get hot this side? No, it doesn't. And this side of the board looks pretty clean. So is it one of the caps on the other side of the board, which is ultimately where we've got the big bang? So I've just flipped it over. 3, 2, 1. Oh, I don't know. It could well be that cap. It might not be. I'm just zooming out a little bit to see if anything shows. Is it the cap that's next to it that's getting a little bit hot? If I inject here. Yeah, I think it is, you know. Okay, I think it's the cap that's literally next to this one, which is causing our issue. Back over to the scope then. If logic tells me correctly, it should be this one. In which case, if I remove this, what I'm probably going to end up doing is put in a replacement cap here. Maybe I'll do this one as well, I'm not too sure yet. But I do have a few donor boards. So we're coming in here 480 degrees Celsius with an airflow speed of 99%. This board soaks up a lot of heat. There we go. Let's make it fun and check on the actual cap. Meter continuity mode. If we get a beep here, what it means is that this cap was faulty. If we don't get a beep, our issue is elsewhere. Here we go. Yes. This cap, the one that didn't go bang, was our culprit. You set the other cap up. Why did you do that? Yeah, we hear it. There we go. Shorted itself out. But didn't go bang. And now if we measure on this line. Now, the short seems to be gone. But I'm not too sure this area is meant to be 50 ohms. I think it's meant to be a little bit higher than that, to be honest. This side's definitely ground. We've removed our issue. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. No, it's still shorted. I think my probe just slipped. When I say shorted, look, it's under 50 ohms. I don't think the board is meant to be under 50 ohms. I'm not surprised that we have another issue, purely because of the fact of how big this explosion was. But if I take a donor board that I've got here, look, I mean, this cap kind of looks a little bit worse for wear, but I think that is just flux. If I measure here, yeah, it's coming up open line. So this is over 1,000 ohms. I'll measure another one here that I have, just to be super comparative. And what do we have in this same location? Yeah, open line. So to confirm here, we should have, I mean, that's climbing. Shouldn't be that high, should it? Over 1 volt in diode mode. Should it be that high? I don't know. Again, test our other donor. Is it that high on this one as well? Well, it definitely climbs, let's put it that way. Whereas on our current board, 0.02. It's very low. Subsequently, that is here, 55 ohms, and it goes into this MOSFET here. Quickly check some of the readings on these resistors. What do we have? 0 ohm, 0 ohm, 0 ohm. All these resistors are 0 ohms, are they? In circuit, at least, anyway. What do we have here on these resistors? Yeah, 0 ohm, 0 ohm, 0 ohm. I'm going to have to do a little bit more inspection on this and see if I can whittle it down to see exactly what is going on and why we only have 50 ohms. Whereas clearly, I think it should be a lot higher than that. I've been looking around as if a solution is something that's going to just jump out at me, but that's definitely not going to be the case. So I'm kind of thinking I've got two options. One of them is just remove this coil. I'm on the wrong phase. One of them is just to remove this coil here and see if that stops us getting the 50 ohms on this path. Or I'm thinking whether I just actually remove this MOSFET and see if that gets rid of our 50 ohms. This 50 ohms here is the 12 volt line. So we're definitely not meant to have 50 ohms here. And I'm worried that if I inject anything, it's going to send whatever it shouldn't straight over to the APU, which we definitely don't want. So I'm thinking remove this MOSFET and see if that makes a difference. And then if that doesn't do anything, I'm going to get rid of this and see if we get 50 ohms on this path. If we do get 50 ohms on this path, I'm pretty sure that's really bad. Saying that, let's measure it now because I've not actually measured at this coil. So what do we get? So I get 17 ohms here. Coil above that, I get 58 ohms. Coil below that, I get 2 ohms. So I think they're all slightly different, actually, if I'm honest. Yeah, that's 2 ohms as well. So this one coming in at 17, and we definitely do have a continuous path, don't we? Yeah. So let's remove this and see if that changes anything. Is this the right thing to do? Absolutely, potentially not. Again, 480, 99% airflow. Get some flux under here as well, just to help out a little bit. Put over to the side. This cap looks a little bit worse for wear as well. Like this coloured. We still have our 50. So it's the same on this cap because we can see it goes right through here, look. So we have 50 here. This side is ground. Okay, let's just, I'm going to get rid of some of the components on this line. I know it kind of makes more sense for it to be some sort of a resistor or anything along those lines, but if I just move these components off, then it will be peace of mind. There's no point of removing this coil now because we can see that that's not the path that it was previously. I thought maybe this was the 50 ohm. Move that up there. Just want to do this little one as well. There we go. So nothing on that path now. What resistance do we get? Still get the 50? Yeah, still get the 50. I don't think it's going to be either of these caps either, but again, peace of mind, we're just moving them off. Everything will be nice and easy at least to put back anyway. Still 50? Yeah, 46. Now, the equivalent to this side of the board where we've got the 12 volt line is over here. Literally opposite it. And I'm just going to inspect some of these MOSFETs and caps as well to see if we have any suspicious ones that don't look too healthy. Some of them look like they've got really hot, but it doesn't look like we've got any cracks or anything along those lines here. And again, I'm pretty sure the 50 follows us over here. It will do if it's the 12 volts. Let's have a look. Oh, no. This one. Yeah, okay, so it's top side. Which then again, will probably go over to here, right? No, it doesn't. And then if I turn that side round, we've got more inductors, coils. I'm assuming, yeah, our 50 is here as well, which is this massive plane here, which goes all the way to our connector, which is where we are going to get 50 ohms. Now on the other revision, there is a coil here, but obviously that's not here anymore. We should have 50 ohms here as well. Yeah, so this is a 12 volt line. So it could be this little chip. I don't know what this chip does. What is that? S68230. Big shout out as usual to a person called Crafter Ben in the Discord. We're currently just trying to work through this, and one of the recommendations was to put the black probe on the 12 volt line, which is what I've done here, and just test against any of the other rails. For example, we have, I think, 3.3 here perhaps, and we got 630 ohms. So what I'm basically looking for is a connection between the 12 volt line and something that is giving me less than 50 ohms but higher than 0 ohms, because 0 ohms would indicate, if if I take you over to a 12-volt rail, that we have a solid connection. Whereas if I look at something like this one, which is V_mem, I have 75 ohms. So I'm basically looking for something that is lower than 50 ohms but higher than a grounded connection. I've checked a bunch of different things now. Again, they're mostly boring, so I'm not going to bore you with it. I did cut a little bit of the recording out, probably around about 5 minutes worth of me just having a look around. And the conclusion I think I've come to is that some of the layers have just fused together down here, and that's what's causing our short. So what I'm trying to do now is, again, just clear out what I can, because some of this might be conductive, in which case we don't want that joining these two layers in any way, shape or form. If by some miracle this ends up working, I will be impressed, but I don't think it is going to work. Let's give it a clean. That looks a bit better here, a little bit more shiny. Maybe the char is like conductive. What do we get now? Do we still get 50 ohms? Meter in continuity mode. Here we go. 50 ohms. Yeah, we still get 50 ohms. Well, 42. So looking at it like this, can I go any deeper here? Potentially. I don't think that is one layer yet. Let's grab our grinding pen here and just see what we can do. How deep does the char go? Pretty deep, as we can see. This is unfamiliar territory to me, so I could be breaking it even further right now. That looks pretty deep, though. Let's go again. Let's go more so this side as well. This will be a nice little learning curve, at least. How does that look now? Try and view it like this. I think we may have gone one layer deep, but again, I think it was needed because of how everything looks right now. So what do we have now? 76. Wait a minute, is it the same? 50? Yeah, exactly the same. 55. I think I just need to try and separate this stuff here, because look, let's be honest, we've still got an issue, right? And is that layer touching there? So let's move that one back. Now I can't tell. This is got to be the ground layer that I'm peeling back here. I'm trying to be really careful. But it goes pretty deep, look. Can you see that? Okay, that's good, but I don't know where this layer's come from. Like, where are you? Are you ground? Let's see if I can measure. Is this ground? Yeah. Okay, so this little layer here is ground, so I can scrape that away a little bit. I think more so here, look. Oh yeah, look at the char under there. So we can't see this because it's gone through the board. Let me just let me clear this bit up. Maybe we can dig this out. Potentially, who knows? Not me, that's for sure. So I'm actually just going to take this bit off, I think. Okay, that's good. And this bit as well. Nice. Now again, a bit of IPA and a clean. Get our bearings here. Yeah, I think that's a separate layer. This one is going to be a separate layer, right? So what is this? That's ground. Wait, what? What's this now? Oh, if we sorted it! Wait, 12-volt line, this one? Oh my god! So this is indeed a different layer. So that's ground under there. This is obviously ground as well. And it's sorted. I think the black char there was causing the connection, because look, now it's open line. Now we've got both of these two caps here, and I think they are going to be suffice. I don't want to mess around with this area, so I think what I'm going to do is get rid of some of these little flaky bits here, and then conformal coat pretty much the whole thing. Is this going to end up working? Lord only knows what the situation is, but I obviously need to try and make this as safe as possible, and the way to do that is conformal coat all of this area and make sure we don't have any stragglers. There we go. Just give that a nice little clean. I don't want this and ground touching here, so I am just going to peel this back a little bit more, just to make sure with my knife. There we go. That's plenty of room. And then if I just cut that away, like that. Bit of IPA, another clean. Just to test. Ground. Yeah. 12 volt. Yeah, and climbing. Jubbly. There we go. And ground this side. Nice. That was awesome. Nice big bit of conformal coating. Or shall I say UV solder mask? I think I need to say UV solder mask. Even more. Give me a big blob here as well. There it is. Now we're going to get this cured and it'll be rock solid in a second. Here we go. Looking good. I don't know what this part is. I don't know what this blob is here. Look. but it's solid. And the rest of it is solid as well. Not going anywhere. I am just going to put a blob of leaded here to put these caps back on. We could still have other issues here. I hope that's not the case though. We'll find out soon enough, that's for sure. Make sure they're set in place nice. There we go. Need to put this little MOSFET back on, that's for sure. Right, that's on. And now we go with flux. Try and solder it into place. Here we go. We need to put this cap back as well. And these caps as well. Coming with some flux here and here. Straighten them out. Reduce our air to about 50%. There we go. Give the air a nice clean. That MOSFET is exactly where it needs to be. Good. Make sure we put our viscous paste back exactly how it was. And just a final check to make sure that short hasn't come back and it's climbing. There we go. That's exactly what we want. Amazing. I'm going to risk this now, put it back together and give it a test. I'm half expecting a beep on, beep off scenario. If not, I'll be jumping up in the air at this point, I think. Okay, nervous doesn't actually really describe how I feel right now. Mainly just because I really want this to work. It will be an awesome fix. HDMI is plugged in just in case. We plugged in the power. Nothing went bang. That's good. Here we go. Moment of truth. In 3, 2, 1. We get a noise. Come on. Stay on white light. Yes. Let's go. No beep on, no beep off. What about the game scene? Anything on here? Yes! Come on! Let's go! Oh, what a fix. I feel amazing after that. Again, massive shout out to Craft Ben on my Discord. If you would like to join our Discord, please use the link down below. I need to put this back together and give it a full test. I mean, download a game, give it a stress test, and make sure it's okay to sell. Test other little bits with it as well. But wow, what a fix that's going to be. Without those two caps, it's going to be fine. The 12-volt rail has so many different caps on it. We had 2 caps on that specific phase, and on the other side, there was another 2, wasn't there? So that should be absolutely fine. Can't believe it turns on. Let's put it back together. Xbox has been reassembled. Absolute shocker. It needs an update. I think that's the least that this Xbox needs. It's looking for some TLC. Let's get a disc to test. Please don't judge. This was in a console that I recently fixed. Safe to say, as long as everything works with it, we'll count it as a profit. But I'm actually going to hold on to this Xbox for a good few weeks. Going to treat it as my home console. Make sure that it properly works. Not just a little game stress test. Everything else that comes with it. That's more of a conscious thing that I want to make sure it works before I do let it go. I have no doubts it will be absolutely fine. 95% of me says that this is going to be absolutely fine, no problems at all. 5% is like, just keep hold of it for a little bit, Joey. I've just put the disc in. It said that I needed to sign in to use it, but you can see the little disc icon by where it says Minecraft, so our disc is working absolutely perfectly. I'm going to give it a reset and we should be good to go. Let's head on over to Sally's spectacular spreadsheet, where today's profit is going to be pretty monstrous, I think. Going to have to get the calculator out for this one. Our total cost for today was £460. 180 for the PS5 Slim, 150 for the first PS5, and 130 for the Xbox Series X. Parts was just £1 for the HDMI port for the PS5. The PS5 Slim we're sending back to Sony. There's no cost incurred there. And the Xbox Series X, miraculously, we managed to fix without anything. This was a PS5 Slim that I sold a couple of months ago. However, it came with a controller and all the cables. I'm going to play it safe and say I think I'll get around about £290 for the PS5 Slim. If I just do it down here so we can see for simplicity. So do 290 plus. Series X, I'm going to go 230. Again, just to play this safe. But I think 230 is definitely on the bottom end. It might even go for 240, 250. I'll be selling these as console only as well. And then the other PS5 is a PS5 digital, right? The first one we worked on. I think, again, around about 230 for that, which gives us a total sell price of... Oh, do I have to put equals in here? Equals? Yeah, there it is. £750 of a sell price. Wow. So we delete that and put in the sell price up here, 750. It gives us a total gross profit in today's episode of £221.50. When was the last time I made £221 on this series? The answer is never. I've never made £221. This is quite far easily the biggest profit on the series today. And to be honest with you, other than the Series X, the other two were really simple. One was a HDMI port and the other one I'm just sending back to Sony under warranty. Okay, I also think this is the highest we've ever been in terms of profit or loss. We are at £817.58, meaning I only need to make £182.42 to finish the the series. If you got this far in the video, let me know what you think I should do. Should I do a season 2 of Profit or Loss, or should we leave it there and let it be? I could have a horrendous couple of episodes and we might end back down to, you know, 400, 500 pounds, but who knows? If you enjoyed watching this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I'll leave a playlist to the first ever episode of this series. You can see where we started in terms of not just repairability and what I was like as a technician over a year ago now, but more so how far I think the YouTube series has actually come. I'll leave that right up here, the playlist. Have a great rest of your day, week, weekend, afternoon, evening, morning, whatever it is for you. And I will see you, as always, in the next one. Peace.